Hello, Star Wars and unboxing fans. Welcome to This Old House episode of Darth Tuba's unboxing show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and yeah, my channel is generally devoted to unboxing, but it's also just enjoying the Star Wars collector's experience. And part of that semi-enjoyment is dealing with what do you do when you have a lot of collectibles and not enough space. And anybody who's been watching my channel knows that I've been working really hard on thinning out the collection and being able to utilize space more effectively. So, that being said, what I'm planning on doing right now is I have this display case. And I like this display case. It came from a store. I was able to acquire one. I know that there have been opportunities to get more, but I really prefer not to buy store displays. Why? Well, partially because if you look up top, you see there is some strip lighting. I installed that, okay? It's actually installed and connected to an actual lamp that is meant to light this display. Well, a lot of times these display cases, or at least in the case of this one, they were hardwired, so there was no on-off switch. So when they took the display out of the store, they basically just cut the wire. I'm not an electrician. I don't want to play with electric like in that sense. So strip wiring is pretty inexpensive, so I pretty much put that in. I don't have it on at the moment, which does tie into another issue that I'll get to. All right, but looking around here, you can see I've utilized every inch of space here. I don't know if you can pick this out, but I have a window right there. But obviously, it's the only natural light that this room gets, really, except for a little bit of a small window over there. I do not want to cover this window up. Also, there's a radiator here. This is in a house. This was actually, even though this is a basement, it was actually originally built as a business that was run, or I think either a business or a house, or like a mother-daughter kind of thing. So I don't really want to do much with the stuff that's here. The most I might consider is if I can get some kind of a small display case to put on top of my base here for the radiator and place it here. That'd be about the only thing I might consider, but that's not what today is about. Today is about this. I have, not my Wampa. I picked up a glass LED lighted display. They are all over the place on internet. You can find them all over the place. One important factor on my Facebook, I don't know if this happens to you, but I get these amazing quote-unquote deals where either through Temu or through just on some other random site where the display cases are like $30. Yeah, don't even bother, guys. I gently dipped my toe in the rabbit hole just to see what would happen, and it just did not see, there was no reviews. I've done some Facebook purchases that have been burnt. I didn't lose a lot of money. Again, as I said, by dipping my toe in it. So I would not recommend that at all. And as far as Temu is concerned, they just have a lot of, it's very flashy, Vegas style. Hey, you just got 3 items for free. But then every time you try to do it, you end up having to pay more and more and more to get the free shipping or whatever. It's very bizarre. So just don't bother. Do not bother with it. It's not worth it. You can go on Amazon and you can find for basically $150 to $200, you can find reasonable LED lit shelves. So that's what I got. Now, the problem is, if you watch my videos, I only put this together about a year or so ago, but I've kind of come to a realization that I want to change it up. I want to do something different. What do I want to do? Well, I'd like to have a display case set up starting here, then moving to here, and then eventually to here, and maybe one more over there, even if I just use one of these old IKEA ones to kind of fill out the difference. And why do I want to do that? Well, the simple, honest to goodness reasoning is that I would like to get all of my vintage collection, 70s and 80s items, as many with boxes as I can, into displays going down here. That's really what I want to do. So, this is going to be a long-term process, folks. This is not going to just be one video, or rather, it's not going to be. It's going to take a few days just to get a video out, and then from there, we're going to have to see from there out. So, but it's basically what I have to do. I like this stuff, guys. Don't get me wrong. This is my Halcyon and Galaxy. Oh, that's my Halcyon right there. that I love, and I don't want to get rid of it. All right, so I'm gonna put that out there. What I'm probably gonna start doing is going through, just shifting things down a little bit. What I can, what I can't do, I will. You know, I've got some space. I've got some areas. You can see there's a few things I moved. I got a few empty shelves. Not that it's going to be enough to house all of this, but there are some things I can do, some things I can move around, and I'm going to do that. And then I want to get this spot free so that I can get this display case put on. Why here? Well, for one thing, this is the closest spot to right behind my Death Star there. That's my power box. That's where my electric is. So I'm going to need to run just an extension cord. I don't want to run it on the ground. I'd run it probably like behind the radiator and just connect it to there. And then if I want another one, then another one, I can use extensions for that. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. And get into a situation where I can just tap a button and they all come on. There were some options where I could find, for a little bit more money, I could have had one that was lit when I'd walked past it. But I'm not down here that much for that to happen. So essentially what I need to do now, my mission is I need to clear these 2 shelves. In order to clear these 2 shelves, I got to go around to these shelves and move some stuff. I can be honest with you, there are some things in this shelf that are going out for the sale, okay? I'm not sure what or when. I know those 2 little items there, those titanium figures are going to go, which I'll be able to move a few figures. I'm probably putting all of the Black Series out. I'm going to get them all out of there so I can, I'm probably going to move that into the other room, maybe even all the little figures into the other room. I don't know what I'm going to do with the Indiana Jones thing. I might leave it alone. I'll see. So it's going to be kind of a temporary placeholder as we move things down and across. So let me get going with that. And then from there, we'll work on clearing out these 2 bookcases and getting the new case installed. Okay, so, whew, that, I know I did a high-speed video, and frankly, that high-speed video tuckered me out because it was pretty fast. It only took me about 15 minutes of my time, which is only about 10 or 15 seconds of your time or so. As you can see, they're empty. Now I got to move these out of the way and find a home for them. Probably going to go in the other room. I have those white kind of industrial shelving, you know, with the plastic tubings and stuff, and I'll break those down, put them in the garage, and I can actually use those for you know, when I do sales and stuff. Now I will say, full disclosure, this is a hodgepodge. I did get my Galaxy's Edge, or sorry, my Halcyon place pretty much. Now, it's still not fully done, but that's okay, because the reality of it is that all this stuff is going to move eventually, because there's really nothing here except maybe the vintage glasses might find themselves in these display cases I slowly plan to install. But as for the rest of it, I'm not 100% sure. I'd like to keep a Galaxy's Edge area, a Star Tours area. You know, like it might, you know, keep my Disney Star Wars. Maybe I'll try to reserve one shelf for all of that. Probably would fit if I could get even those, you know, like I need to move all those figures, all those Hot Toys and Sideshow figures out of there. I might actually be able to utilize the bottom shelf for most Galaxy's Edge. There are a few items here that I'm putting out for sale, okay? Some of these I only had this, I just did an unboxing of this earlier in the summer, the Clone Force 99 thing, but it's a toy and it's not something I resonate with. It was cool, but it would have been cool as a kid. But yeah, so for now, I just want to remove these 2. And I believe that left to right, we are good for being able to put this new display case together. Now I will say it actually might be too much room, but that's okay. The other issue I'm hearing is if you see, like down here, you see those little crates? Yeah, they are there for a reason. If you watch my channel, you know that we have had flooding in this basement. It's not too bad. It doesn't flood. In fact, it was we're at the top of a hill. So this space is actually not really in a flood zone, nowhere near a flood zone, but it does, if you notice these pipes up top here, okay, those pipes are here because this has heat. That door leads to a bathroom. There is plumbing in this basement. It is a full functioning room. The problem is that if there was ever a pipe burst or something of that nature, there would be massive amounts of flooding. So underneath this tile right here with the square is a drain. It goes about 8 inches, 10 inches down, and the water goes out to our, I guess it's to our gray septic. Gray water septic, which is an old type of septic that only, we have a solid septic for the toilets and a gray water septic for sink water, shower water, and that. Well, it's fine, except when you have quote unquote biblical proportions of rain, like an inch an hour or something like that. Eventually it backs up and there's no place for the water to go, so it starts coming up through the shower and it starts coming up through this drain. So what I have done is I have a little pump that I set up in areas of bad weather. It pumps right out this door, and right out the door there's a drain that's just a pipe that leads down the hill. Let me put it this way: if that floods, that's like a Noah's Ark level flood, so I'm not going to worry about that. So that's where we are right now. Okay, so but I do like to keep some stuff. Now, of course, that stuff's in danger. Anything over there, I had the glasses there, but they're the plastic cheaper ones. So if they get flooded, I just dry them off and they're fine. So as long as I have things 6 inches off the ground, we should be fine. So everything else is. So I'm going to, next step is to take these out. Probably just going to put them over here for right now to the left and see about getting this display case up and running. Okay, so here we are. Step one. This took me about 4 hours. Couple of little pieces of full disclosure here. I'm not really good at putting furniture together. IKEA furniture and furniture with instructions, because I always skip a step or misread a step. Or in the case of this one, a step wasn't very clear. Normally they're very, very, like putting Legos together. They're very, very, very precise. But in the case of this one, base was reversed. The base had the holes where the pins for the glass shelving go in. So it's a little bit, learning curve. But the good news is, there's nothing about it. You could take this entire thing apart and put it back together. You know what I mean? It's not like permanent. So that's a good thing. Okay. So what I wanted to just kind of go through is that you can see I kept this all in my vintage idea. We got my prized new possession, the A-Wing, returned to the collection after almost 30 years. A couple of the Security Scout is actually in the box. I have smaller boxes. I am coming to grips with the reality that I'm probably not going to be able to display a lot in these cases with stuff in, you know what I mean? Like over here, I have my TIE Fighter and I have my Sandcrawler with the box. I don't think I'm going to do that. It'll just be like one vehicle per shelf. That's a little bit of a wasted space. Although I might get one up here, so I'll decide later. So next row down, we got Dewback, we got the ATST, we got that lightsaber I unboxed a little while ago, we got the Cloud Car. There is a box for the Cloud Car, so I may put that in there, kind of switch it up with with the dewback. I just wanted to get something in there to see it. I love the lighting. It's so nice. This is your standard light strip. Plugs in. I don't have any Bluetooth or anything. I don't really want any Bluetooth, to be honest with you. I just like it being able to plug it in and work. I do have a remote out of this pile of stuff here, so I can change the color, right? But I prefer... What do I prefer? Something like that. And the bottom, I decided to put some of the glasses in. That cleared out a little bit of space over there. I know there's more glasses at the bottom. Those are the Target glasses that came with figures. I'll figure out another way to display them. I don't want to get rid of them. They're too cool of an item. Maybe I'll put them on top here. I don't know. We'll see. And also, as you can see, there's a huge segment of space left over. I am not going to bring one of those. I think one of those cases might fit in there, but I'm not going to bother. It's a little tight, and I don't want to move all this other stuff. So I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking I could fit one. That probably goes to about here. 2, and it's below this thing, so that's good. 3. Yeah, so I can probably get 3 more of these, which I think I'm going to do. And that way I can really go to town with all of my vintage stuff. And, you know, I could, like I said, if I'll find a shelf for all this. In fact, I'm planning on moving all these bookcases to the other room and just displaying them in there. So we will have plenty to, you know, to continue to do there with that. So that's good. All right, so that is a good start. Okay, as you can see, I moved a few of those items over. So, and I also kind of cleared out this corner a little bit because, as I mentioned, I need to have access over here to this. Oh, can I get that up? No, it's too short. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out something else to do with this Revenge of the Jedi display. It's so big, you know, and it's also kind of coming apart due to the fact that it's made of cardboard. So, you know, I have to figure something out. But anyway, I have this pile of stuff. Well, this is staying. This is staying in the collection for a little bit anyway. I mean, this is not anything. This is not the vintage stuff, you know. This is, and this plug here won't be permanent. I just used it as a temporary. I have to get an extension and plug it in there. So, but yeah. So that is where we are. So cool. Okay, and then I will continue to add. Now, of course, next time I add a thing, I'm going to have to get an extension, then another extension, then another extension. You know, so that unfortunately they don't all connect, which is the one downside. This was not very expensive, guys. You do not have to spend oodles of money. Of course, the more money you do spend, the better quality. I mean, this is basically just particle board. The side glass case is the glass is only in the front, which I like. The side is just plexiglass, but it does give a nice effect. And what the most important thing is that this will be protected, okay, from the elements, which is really, really good. Hello, sorry. Hello again, everybody. I believe this is a follow-up to a video I started. For you, it's an instant ago. For me, it was about 2.5 weeks ago. I have done a full-out redesign of the Star Wars rooms, and I want to show you guys what it is. It's still a work in progress. It'll always be a work in progress, but we've already shown this, I believe, where we've kind of used this wall to show all of my vintage carded figures. Again, I collect them slightly damaged, a little bit of scratch, a little bit of ding, not perfect. Why? Because that's the only ones I thought that I probably could afford to buy more expensive ones, but these are, you know, these are all I really need. And as you can see, they're mostly Return of the Jedi, but we get the occasional Power of the Force, Empire Strikes Back. Okay, we've shown all these, but that's not what I'm going to talk to you. I want to walk through the room and show you what I've done. And there's the main feature. I have gotten glass cases, light up glass cases. Ooh, I wonder what this will look like in the dark. You know what? We'll come back around and turn the overhead lights off and see what that looks like. Okay, but check this out. Oh, isn't that awesome? This is all pretty much 70s and 80s vintage stuff. Oop, one open door. Glass casing top fronts, plexiglass on the side. These are not too expensive. You can find these on Amazon. They come with 4 light strips. They all plug in. They plug into a USB outlet. And they very easily, and once you start plugging them all in and they share the same electronic circuit, they all turn the same color. So you don't have to turn on 5 different remotes. These are, I don't believe these are powered by any kind of app, although the ones over there are. But, you know, that's kind of where we are. So just kind of go through them. We have our, well, you know, I put a lot of my school supplies, birthday candles, kind of crafty things that I'm collecting here. Of course, I got the stand here, which is the 12-inch, or the first 12 figures, rather. All complete. I got another one behind it of just kind of some random ones. I'm thinking about maybe trying to put the next 17, like just trying to fill the, you know, maybe the first 12 and the last 12, so to speak. But only if I can get a double. I have a couple of doubles. I don't know if I have all of those figures doubled, so I'll have to take a look. Land of the Jawas, another stand here. X-Wing Invaders TIE Fighter. I'm loving that I have these little plastic U display pieces. My cousin, if you watch my channel, she was a Hallmark store owner, and she opted to not renew her lease, so they were getting rid of a lot of stuff. So she was giving me plastic U display pieces. Of course, there's the Bantha from, I think, what is that, Stan Solo? I forget which one that is. I think it's Stan Solo. Got our Y-Wing. It's all my vintage stuff, folks, mostly from my childhood. A couple of items I picked up later, like the Sonic Land Speeder. I like, thanks to Toy Polloi, I picked up the R2-D2 in his, the sticker that makes him look dirty, which I love. Cloud Car, Play-Doh, both the Imperial Troop Transport, and then the other one that I think, I forget if this is the British version or if this is just the version that came after the fact without the electronics. I have to look more into that. Creature Cantina, there's all my 12-inch figures, or most of them. The other ones are up there. Some boxes, candy holders, all those plastic tumblers and cups and mugs, just like random hodgepodge, but I tried to put some organization to it. I love this so much, guys. It's so much cleaner. All the Burger King glasses, some of my handiwork painting, the paint by numbers little things, some lunch boxes in the back. There's the ever popular desert skiff racers, desert scale skiff, the Tatooine skiff. Just, do I have more than one cloud car? I have more than one cloud car. Well, that's silly. All right, well, that's okay. One of them will go in a sale with the better of the two. Okay, got my wonderful A-Wing. Couple of pieces, you know, I probably could have fit the battle wagon in one of the spaces. Maybe I'll still do that. Maybe I'll do some rearranging. We'll see. Got the B-Wing here, the AT-AT, 2 of the TIE Fighters, and my Rebel Transport. Right now, the Falcon doesn't really have a home. I think I can fit him up there. I'll have to do some rearranging. Yes, we have that. I'm actually selling off a lot of my animated maquettes. But I have a place I can put him, and little Mickey and R2. I have another home for them. So, and then over here is where I had all my 12-inch Hot Toys. Still have them. I'll show you where I put them. And I might have showed you this already, but this is kind of an updated thing. I tried, my ultimate hope was to be able to have a vehicle in front of the box. And I still think I'd like to someday try that, but I feel like I'm going to need display cases that are a lot deeper to do that. So I'm not 100% sure. You know, and another thought I had was to maybe use this display case to showcase all the boxes, you know, and maybe this one too, and put all of these smaller play sets and whatnot in these glass cases. Because you can see this one's still pretty full. I got the Gentle Giant figures that I still have, my Adidas sneakers there, Darth Vader telephone. Here is the Target glasses that I displayed here. Here's a Elusive Concepts Admiral Akbar maquette. But you can see here, a lot of things have been kind of emptied. So I've got, and some of these are going to go off to the next sale. So I've also, you know, you can see here, this is one of my blacks. This is what I have left of Black Series, and I'm most likely going to be getting rid of these. I put my Muppet Star Wars crossover figures here, and my Disney Star Wars crossover figures here. And I put some of the 4-packs all down here, and a few just loose ones there. Again, you see, you know, where I used to have 12-inch figures. I still have some over here. Here's where I got to figure out a better way to display. It looks like they had a fender bender. Maybe use this. Maybe use some of the IKEA shelving for. Yeah, you know, I mean, these are like random. These are my daughter's work. She did some art on that. Some sneakers for me. The Skywalker Vineyard. You know, there's room to do some stuff. This is all my putting pieces of stuff together, cleaning stuff off, getting them ready for sales. So there's a couple of options available to me, but backdrop has constantly been changed and upgraded, upkeep. Still a lot of boxes there, so yeah, there's still some things I want to think about what to do. And here is where all the vintage stuff used to be, and I still have unfortunately my sail barge could not fit in those cases or on top of it, but I can put a nice set of all my 12-inch figures here. It's a little bit clustered, but I'm okay with that. Maybe I'll move them around. I moved the Ghost over here along with its partner vehicles. Still have my party supplies over here. Couple of shelves been moved around. Note the emptiness. That's by design, so we can fill them with stuff. This is what happened to some of the black shelves that were in that first room that I moved over here. But now that I've seen how well they look lit up, I am thinking about coming up with ways to light all these shelves. These are the ones I'm probably gonna get rid of eventually and replace them with things like this, or even the glass cases. Now, here's another glass case, but you'll notice it's only a glass case for the top. On the bottom, it's open. Fun story. These came to me, I've ordered 4 of them, but through Amazon. And the first one came in a rectangular box with styrofoam and protected padding and everything. And then another one came, and it was, well, let's just say it was in a box that was twice as big. And because it was twice as big, it didn't have any of the padding to be twice as big. So I'm looking at it, and it's like all dented, all banged up. So I open it up, and all the glass, only 2 of the 4 panes survived. The other ones, not so much. So I emailed the seller. The seller said, "Oh, no problem. We'll send you a new one." I said, "Oh, okay." So let me keep the old one. Well, the rest of it was pretty good. I mean, the other thing, the backing, the hard, it's not cardboard, but it's a little bit hard, you know, the oak tag cardboard backing that you see, this kind of stuff, was all damaged. So I had to kind of repair it, you know, tape it together and stuff. But once you had it all screwed into the back of the wall of this became much more sturdy. Everything's like 6-7 inches off the ground in case of flooding. Got the Palatoy Death Star up here. Here's the other area that I guess I can put this light on. Excuse me, Vader. This is the other area that I put the other bookcases. We have our Halcyon, and the rest of this is mostly Galaxy's Edge. There's the droids from the droid builders and stuff. I have my little indie section here. I do have one more shelf right here. Yeah, so, you know, just kind of random stuff, but pretty happy with it. And the place is looking cleaner, and it's looking neater, and it just feels, you know, less, shall we say, less hoardery and more collectory. All right, I want to see what this looks like with the lights out. Hang on. Oh, nice. Just, oh, that's so cool. I wish I had a slightly higher ceiling, then I'd put a TV there. That's where you could watch. Although I guess I could. Ooh. I could put a TV here. Oh, that would just be so cool. Just sit a TV right on this radiator. Gotta have the power right over here. So, definitely gonna think about that. Nice little flat screen. Get a little Roku. Kind of hang out here and watch a little Star Wars. So cool. All right, well, I guess I will leave you. Oh my God, this is so cool. I can't get over this. Oh my God. So these shelves, if you just type in lighted bookcases on Amazon, you'll probably find a lot of great ones. I will tell you, you know, these roughly ran, I want to say they ran about $115 a piece. So purchasing 4 of them, right? But I will tell you, you're not getting free shipping. Okay, the shipping was expensive. Shipping was like another $100. Well, you know, for all of them. So just, you know, it was about a $600 or $700, somewhere between $600 and $700. But to me, that was a decent, you know, compared to what I know. Some people get display cases like this for much cheaper, but I like that it's a little more flimsy because the only glass is in the front, and that makes it easier to ship, easier to put together. You know, if I ever decide to move, I can dismantle these, take them with me if I want. All right, they're a lot more user-friendly. Especially, I had literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I bought 5. They gave me a 6th one because of the broken one. So yeah, that's why it was $600 or $700. I think it was like $700 almost exactly for the 5 pieces plus the shipping. So obviously, now I will point out, poor best, you know, right there, you'll see at the top of the screen, the lights are starting to go down, and unfortunately, it seems like that. Yeah, and I think the one above that is doing the same thing. I'm not going to worry too much about it. It's just unfortunately that you know, eventually I'll go in there and, you know, tinker with it, and then I'll, you know, figure. I've been using. I hope the rest kind of stay up. I've been using. These seem to be doing all right. I've been using command strips, meaning they have a label, they have a backing on them, and I use it to tape it to the ceiling of each shelf. But I used command strips to kind of help reinforce like the middle, the left, and the right. But I think the ones I used here were not as good, so I'll have to go in there eventually. Oh, of course, it's the micro machines, and it's like all the like piecemeal stuff. Yikes! But that's all right, because I think I want to move the micro machine stuff anyway, because I feel like that one's looking a little sparse and that one's looking a little full. So if I could maybe do a little bit of moving around, I might have to take the Bespin World out and the Hoth World, or the Hoth Ion Cannon out, because they're just so big. That's the problem. If you fill the cases too much, then you run into that type of issue. So, but you know what? That's good. Lets me tinker with it. I like tinkering. So anyway, that is the display. That is the collection as of right now. This is the prize part of it. This is the childhood memories. I have updated some of my vehicles and play sets with new ones that were not broken, or that were in better condition. But overall, just really, really cool. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Please check me out, Instagram, Bluesky, like, subscribe, hit the notification, hit the bell icon. We will continue to post new videos Wednesdays and Sundays, and sometimes other days. Like I had so much content over the summer that I didn't want to push it off. I would have videos right to the end of the year. So I wanted to, instead of doing that, I was releasing them every day. So we did that for a little bit. We'll probably do that a little bit more. All right. Not sure when this one will go out. This is the end of August, right before school starts. So now I'm going to go to my job and probably be so busy that I'm not even going to get down here to enjoy it. But it's here and it's in good shape and I love it. And now I can see things easily and be able to piece it together more and more and add stuff to it. And that's going to be great. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, may the Force and the toys be with you.